June 12th. A parable of Beleblu. In the land of Beleblu, nestled between rolling plains and distant hills, peace once rested like morning dew. But that peace was stolen. From beyond the forest came the men in uniform. They marched in with boots that crushed stories and laws. They said they were the protectors, but their protection came with chains. They ended the village council. They took over the drums, silenced the horns, rewrote the songs. Where once there had been laughter, there was curfew. Where once the people danced, now they whispered in fear. Each time someone spoke of freedom, the men in uniform answered, "You are not yet wise enough to choose." So the people waited. Not out of hope, but out of survival. Then, one moon cycle, a declaration came, unusual and unexpected: pick your future. The men in uniform, tired of unrest or confident in control, called for an election. And out of the crowd stepped a familiar figure. A boy grown into a man, known by all but feared by none. His name was Obiola. Born under a leaking roof, raised among traders and toilers, Obiola had never worn a uniform. He had sold firewood and palm oil, shared yam with beggars, paid for orphans' books, and built shelters with his own hands. They called him the kind merchant. He stood in the market square and said, "We have suffered long. Let Beleblu choose its path. Not in fear, in faith." He had no army, no iron, only truth. And truth travels faster than thunder. On the 12th day of the 6th moon, Beleblu awoke early. They wore their best wrappers, carried their children, and walked through dust and sun toward the voting huts. They sang. They laughed. They believed. The ink stained their thumbs, but also lifted their hearts. By dusk, it was clear the people had chosen Obiola. Not just a man. A future. But just as the fires were being lit in celebration, the decree came. The men in uniform emerged again. The process is invalid. The result must be cancelled. They locked away the kind merchant. They burned the scrolls of the vote. They said the people were confused. But the people knew the truth. The rulers feared the will of the ruled. A colder rule followed. Harsher. More unforgiving. Men vanished. Women wept. Youth were dragged in daylight. Even the winds seemed quieter. But in silence, memory grew louder. We chose once. We will choose again. The words traveled like river water. Slow, steady, unstoppable. Years passed. The mighty one who wore the heaviest uniform fell, not by rebellion, but by the toll of his own reign. And Obiola, the kind merchant, passed not long after. But even in death, he rose, in stories, in songs, in symbols. When Beleblu found light again, the people gathered at the square. They built a tall stone, plain and strong. Upon it, they carved only this: "We remember the 12th. And every year, they gathered. Not to mourn a stolen crown, but to honor a discovered voice. June 12th, a tale of chosen silence.